Welcome people of the internet, I'm Kobe and today we're gonna finally be making the much requested pita bread. Here is how I make pita bread. We're gonna start with 500 grams, or let's call it 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. 1, 2, 3. I know people get a little mad and triggered when I just measure roughly half a cup with my full cup, so fine, I'm using a half a cup. And a half. For this recipe, I use a little less than a tablespoon of dry yeast. There we go, perfectly, just a little less than a tablespoon. Just the same, probably about a half a tablespoon. Okay, now it's time to get triggered. Probably about anywhere between a third to a half a tablespoon of salt, and probably just about a little less than a tablespoon. You can do just 1 tablespoon sugar. This is optional, but if you have it, add a half a teaspoon of baking powder. That's just gonna make the pita bread a little fluffier. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. You could do without, and it will work great. Get all the dry ingredients combined, and then it's time to add our liquids. Before I add my liquids, fine, I'll do it. I didn't forget you guys. I got some sourdough starter. Totally unnecessary, but I got it and I like to use it, so here we go. Add some flavor. To this flour, I'm gonna add 1.5 cups of water. And then this is optional, but I like to add about a tablespoon or 2 of just olive oil. Gives it some extra flavor. If you don't have olive oil, you don't need to add it. We have all our ingredients in the bowl, and now we start kneading. We got our dough nice and even. I'm just gonna plop it in my bowl. Little drop of olive oil on top. Massage my dough, make sure it's all oiled, the bowl is oiled. And then once I got my dough oiled, I let it rest for at least an hour till it doubles in size.
2 seconds later.
Now technically I should be waiting about an hour for this to rise and double in size. But guess what? I've prepared one ahead. Just like a professional cooking show. So I got this one by mistake on purpose prepared from yesterday, and I'll show you how to make pita. Onto my lightly floured surface, I plop my dough. It's a little nice and sticky. Let me just flip it over. Make sure I get my dough all nicely floured from all edges. When pita is baking, it needs as much heat as possible coming from the top and the bottom, and that's what makes the pita expand. In this oven, I have a very small surface till the top, so I don't want my pitas too big because if they expand too much, they're gonna burn. So I'm gonna go with a little bit smaller pitas. I'm using a pizza oven, but I figured pizza, pita, potato, potato. Let's cut this into even pieces. I'll round out my 8 even pieces into small little dough balls. Make sure they're floured around all the edges and let them rest for about 10 minutes while I'm preheating my pizza oven. So to round out my dough balls, I just grab my dough, fold it, tuck everything under, and I just keep on stretching out and tucking under, and once I have a nice smooth dough ball, I leave the seam side on the bottom and just let it rest. I'm gonna sprinkle some flour on them in a minute, and then we'll let them rest. I got my dough balls all nice and even. Next up, I'm heating up my pizza oven. I may cover these just so they could rest, and I'll see them in about 10 minutes to roll them out and get them in the oven. I'll be back. And it's been about 10 minutes, and this is what they look like. I got my oven preheating here. That may be making an annoying sound. Got my rolling pin. Better yet, get a bottle of wine. Just roll out my pita bread. Okay, I roll my pitas out to about 1/2 centimeter in width. Just about a finger, maybe a little less. These are not huge pitas, like I said. This recipe, if you want to make them a little bigger, maybe cut them into 6. Make sure they're very well floured. Pita is a well floured bread. Let's get them nice and round and overall even in size. Now that I've got my mini pitas rolled out, they're ready to go into the preheated oven. Now if you do not have a pizza oven like me, you would want to heat your home oven to the highest heat that you have and make sure it's preheated well. You want to heat your oven to the maximum heat. In about 2 to 3 minutes, you want your pizzas already puffed up and practically fully baked. Let me put a few of these in this pizza oven and see how it works. Add some time on the timer and let's go in. And it's about time my hot pizzas are ready. Straight on to my kitchen towel. And I cover them up so they don't dry out. But now I have nice and hot pizzas. You can look how fluffy they are. I'll give them just about a minute to cool and then we'll break them open and see what they're like. It's been a couple of minutes. My pizzas had the chance to cool off. And let me show you them. So this pita is nice, fluffy, soft. It's still hot. It's pretty hot. It's warm. Let me just break this pita open so you see what it looks like on the inside. Look at that. So fluffy and airy, and it has the perfect pocket inside. So you could put my falafel from my falafel video or anything else that you want right in there. Let's give this a little taste test and see what it's like. I'm in fluffiness heaven. These pizzas are fluffy, delicious, yummy, fresh. You would never get a pita as good as this at the supermarket or even at a bakery. You have to make your own pizzas at home. They are amazing and you will never go back to buying pizzas at the store. Trust me on that one. Thanks for watching my video. See you next time.